You're now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Hello. Can you hear me? Awesome. Yeah, having to use something a little bit different today. And lights won't come on. I guess we had a power outage last night. Yeah, I know. So good morning, everybody. I guess I've got to just restart this entire computer after the show. Yeah, I'm about to pull you in. Yes, somewhat similar, but a little bit different.
All righty.
You've got all the ideas.
I know. I'm trying to get used to it again. Trying to remember
The
how it
backups.
works.
Backups because you
Backups for backups.
Backups for the
All right. So
I
we're
kind
gonna
of
go-
I like this view. Look at you guys down there.
Hey, I like that too.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go live. Here we go.
I wish I could figure out how to turn on my light.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Morning, Sandy.
morning.
Hello. Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We haven't talked to you since Friday,
I
and hope you had a great weekend. I can't imagine that anything happened in Cayman in the last 3 days.
Right. Those days are long gone. We had a stabbing this weekend.
Great way to start the week.
Fun.
I did see
I
that.
know.
What was the story with that? You said it was South Sound. What do we
We're
know?
still trying to get the story, actually. We don't have very many details yet. As you know, the police, their press department doesn't tend to work on the weekends or public holidays.
Well, it's a holiday.
We don't have anything from them.
They don't get paid for
that. But we work it. So all we know is that a man was found and taken to the hospital with stab wounds. Yeah.
He's alive though.
And up to late last night, he was still in the emergency room getting treatment. So that's kind of crazy.
No.
But no idea what the circumstances are around
Not
it.
yet.
That's
So,
nuts.
yeah.
I'm
I
glad
know.
that he's okay.
Yep. A little bit crazy.
Anything else happen over the weekend? You were at Rib Fest?
Yes, that was awesome.
Cool.
So I did go to Rib Fest. I tell you what, so many of the competitors literally ran out of food.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
I
we
was
heard.
lucky to get any ribs at all.
I think it was kind of everyone was so hungry and it just kept going back because you could get as many as you wanted as long as you bought tickets.
Right.
Right.
You know, instead of like doing a sample card where you get like one from each.
I think that was the sign of a good turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great
Well,
event.
my husband's team, the Notorious PIG, won. They won
People's
the
Choice?
People's Choice.
Oh, okay.
Did you try those ribs?
Yeah.
Did you get to
I
Those
can't
would've
even
counted.
remember which ones we eventually got, but I tell you what, it wasn't really much of an option at the end for us. So, but they were good, and the Mexican corn was awesome, and it was just good to see people out and about and having a lot of fun.
Did you have a giant foot-long hot dog? Did you see those hot dogs?
Yeah. My husband bought one,
That's
They were
American right
huge.
there.
and they were huge.
Wow. Yeah. Huge.
Weird.
Huge hot dogs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I do enjoy a good hot dog, but I'm not like into that Nathan's hot dog eating contest where you have to eat 76 in
Yeah.
a row to win.
That's
So
pretty
Sandy,
crazy.
you mentioned you're in Facebook jail again.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
What'd you do now?
You know what? This one really has me puzzled. Like most of them I can kind of understand, but this one is super weird. So there's this video that a Facebook friend posted of a guy, a UPS driver getting robbed. Did you guys see that? It was so crazy.
Did not.
Right in the middle of the street. I don't even know what city this was in the US, but they were robbing him. So they jumped out of a car and beating the poor UPS guy up. He had a little tiny package like this. It wasn't even anything major.
Aw.
And and then the getaway car was like an SUV. So it seems like the robbers are not the smartest in the world. So the guy who was doing it, he jumps back in the passenger side and the driver starts to take off before he could get a good footing. And so he literally fell out of the SUV as it was taking off. And so I commented, I'm like, he should have gotten ran over. That's all I said, a criminal. And Facebook put me in jail for that. I cannot believe it. I was like, what?
Fair enough. Not fair enough on Facebook, but yeah, that's totally.
I'm going to guess,
That's
Sandy,
ridiculous.
that you're starred for Facebook.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. So you have to really word things certain ways, probably.
But you know what?
If Sandy and I would have commented on that, we probably wouldn't be in Facebook jail. But if you're Sandy
until
Hill,
recently, I haven't been in Facebook jail for like over a year, actually. And I was kind of getting used to it because you know what happens? I'll tell you what, do not take Facebook jail at face value. You must always appeal a decision because it's like a computerized decision initially.
Okay.
So I always appeal it and I always win, except this time. So
this is the one that actually got you in the most.
Yeah, they're like, no, this goes against our policies. So I'm in Facebook jail until tonight. I think I've got a couple more hours or whatever left, but
oh well.
Yeah, it was 3 days. I was like, whatever.
I think my oldest accidentally reported someone on like one of those Facebook groups on that because I had it pulled up, and then I look over, and if I saw him hit something, and then it just like went away. So I think if you report someone, because I have done that before, but like it goes away quickly, and anyway. So if someone got reported on like K-Moms or whatever. I promise I didn't mean to do it.
Was the name Sandy Hill?
It was not Sandy. I will tell you it's not Sandy. I was looking, they were selling something. And to be honest, I was actually looking at it because I was like, they're selling what for how much? That's ridiculous. Because I find that a lot of people will put like used stuff up for more expensive than it like actually costs.
Just on EK? On K-Moms.
This was on like one of the Facebook marketplace, but EK people do. People are always trying to sell stuff for like what it's not worth, and so I get a laugh from it. But this time, I put the phone down to go and do something.
And so your son was like,
all of a sudden, just started pushing buttons.
This is baloney. I'm reporting that.
No, just started pushing buttons, and and it was one of those tragic moments that it just got to that point. So I don't know if they see my name. If someone reports you, do they see your name?
No.
It says Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown has reported you.
Okay.
No, they have no idea. I don't even know who would report that. I mean, who would report a criminal getting ran over by his own? I'm
going to say that this
criminal.
This was like an algorithm with what you wrote.
Yeah.
On someone, and that's why you appeal it, because normally it's like a computer trying to decide that you've done something wrong.
There's a whole show on that called Ridiculous that I love on MTV.
Is that still going on?
Yes. It's amazing. All right, Sandy, if you want to catch CMR right now, you can see her live, not on Facebook, but on YouTube.
No, we're on Facebook today because I had to use my backup streaming service.
I am swooping in under a different
yes.
Guys.
Technology doesn't always win.
We always have a workaround.
Yep.
I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, Aaron, what you got coming up in your dirty?
Okay, we're going to talk about what's
Okay, I think that's it. I'm trying to get used to this one because I haven't used it in a while. So if you notice, I look a little bit darker today. That's because I guess the power went out at some point last night. And so I had to put this on because I couldn't even hear the audio this morning. So I've been trying to restart everything without actually restarting the computer. My taskbar doesn't work. So my start window won't launch any apps or anything like that, no matter what I do, apparently. Some apps are kind of working, but it's really weird. So I think today I have to just, after the show, because I can't do it right now, I'm going to have to just restart everything on the computer, which is always annoying for me because trust me, I always have like a bunch of stuff open. Let me save some of these documents. You should never do what I do. Don't leave all of your stuff open. And I always have like 10 tabs open for the websites and then another 10 for everything else. So I have to go through now and like save all my documents, close everything. And you know what? Some stuff has been open for so long that it's not even going to close. So I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to have to force everything to shut down, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, how is everyone? How was your weekend? I would love to be able to turn the lights on, but I think I need to get to like I legit can manually. I've tried manually doing it, but it doesn't stay on. So I'll have to shut down the computer afterwards. Like everything's kind of stuck. What's going on with the power recently? Anybody know what's been going on? I guess the weather. Let me start for Instagram. So we'll start the Instagram feed for the first hour and say good morning to everybody. So I think we're live on, are we live on both YouTube and Facebook? Are we on YouTube? I don't even know. I've not used this particular system in so long that I cannot legit remember how to use a lot of the features. Like it looks like a little bit of like learning something new. This was actually the first format that we used to use for the show. And it's very, very similar. It's like web-based, which is kind of cool. But there are some differences. I'm still trying to figure out, to be honest, I've gotten so used to the other one, but I think now I really do prefer the other option. So I don't even know if we're on YouTube. Somebody can tell me if they're listening on YouTube. I only see Facebook comments, so I kind of feel like we're not on YouTube, but I tried. Tomorrow I'll be back out of Facebook jail. So I come out tonight at I think about maybe 10 o'clock or so. Like honestly, I do not understand Facebook jail sometimes. This comment really just has me baffled. So a big shout out to Jason Hunter on IG, Samantha, Ravinda. We've got Blair here. Blair is watching us there. Island Girl. Some foreign names that make no sense. DJ Ryan, good morning. Candy Sita, what's up? Good morning, Shan. Philip is tuned in. CSR is tuned in. GP Home Renovations, morning. Tyler. And who else? Osmo. Maybe I should put my glasses on. Where are my glasses, by the way? Can't even find my glasses today. Who knows? All right, we're just going to wing it. It's Monday, part 2. You know how weekends always kind of throw you for a loop. Orlando, Roxanne, Jerome, Jillian, everybody's here. On Facebook, we have Alice, Olivia, Miss Morna, David, Anne, James, Ling Ling, Barbara, Irvelyn, Christian, Quincy. Big shout out to Quincy. Prince Quincy, we're going to talk to you here in a second. Special greeting to Brandon, Louie, Larry, Denise is here, Jackie's here, Richie Rich. Good morning, Felicia, Aliano, Roderick, Darlene, join us from the UK. Shirley's here. Hey, Shirley, how you doing? Corrine, Benji, and Kato Lee. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I'm a little bit in the dark. Literally, not figuratively. So, unfortunately, I think what I need to be able to do, I can't do right now because it's going to force me to restart the computer. And I don't want to restart the computer because we got a show to do. So, good morning to everyone. So yeah, so my light that gives me a better quality image, unfortunately, isn't on, because I think when the power goes out, it does something to it, like it flips it. And then the weird thing is the remote doesn't work, and I can manually do it, but it doesn't stay. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, whatever. I can't be bothered some days with technology. We're just gonna leave it alone. I don't think it's dark, but maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. Good morning to Miss Sue. Yeah, so Miss Darlene's like, what's up with you guys getting Facebook jail? Like, legit, this Facebook jail sentence to me, like, if this was real jail, I would really be pissed. Good morning, Miss Donna, and Rebel Wayne is joining us on Instagram. If this was like real jail, I would be kicking and screaming, because I got to tell you one thing for sure. This Facebook jail makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So first of all, the video is okay. So the video shows these stupid guys trying to rob a they're trying to rob a UPS guy, right? First of all, who robs a UPS guy? Like, these guys are just legit unbelievable. I'm gonna see if I can pull it out for you guys here. Bear with me, because you know that this isn't really the best option. So big shout out to El Ray. He's the one who shared this video that totally got me in trouble. And I mean, I couldn't help but comment, but I kind of feel like going forward, like, I'm going to have nothing to say, not with my personal account anyway on Facebook, because Facebook is just so hypersensitive these days. They take everything like really sensitive, except the things that they should. Like, I swear, some of the things that I see on Facebook that should definitely land people in jail do not land people in jail. It is the most bizarre thing ever. Okay, let me see if I can download this file. I'm going to try to download it. It wants to save it as an MKV file. I don't even know what that is, but let's see if we can save it. All right, I'm going to see if I can pull this in. So the poor UPS guy, broad daylight, gets robbed. The caption says, it's from Fox 2 KTVU. Says a UPS driver was attacked and almost robbed yesterday in San Francisco while on his delivery route. The incident unfolded around 2 p.m. and Go and Height streets. I don't even know where that is in San Francisco, but this is like totally not cool. So let me see if I can actually bring it up as a share screen. So this is a story. This is what happened. And it's like super bizarre. I'm sorry, IG people, you won't be able to see it, but let me see if I can bring it up for Facebook folks to see. Oh yeah, I see Mr. Hero Blair on YouTube. So I guess YouTube is working. All right, he says that it looks pretty good there. Morning to Louis and Lida. So this is a really bizarre situation, right? Let me just see where's screen share in this one. It's like learning a whole new system here this morning. Aha. Oh, no. That's not screen share. Can't wait till tomorrow where I can get back to my regular show. Okay, so let me see. UPS driver. Here we go. I think this is it. Yes. Okay. So here's the UPS driver. I'm going to play the video here so you guys can see it. Commercials. Can I just see the UPS video? This advertisement's going to end in 6 seconds. All right, check this out, guys. It's so incredibly bizarre. All right, look at this. They're like legit beating the guy up in the middle of the street. Look at this. He's like sucker punching him. So he grabs his glasses. He didn't get the package. Poor okay, let's back up. So the poor UPS guy, you saw that, right? So he gets beaten up. Then the robber, who has his face covered, jumps in the van. Do you guys see this? Picks up his glasses, goes to jump in there. It looks like a Toyota or something. He goes to jump in, and there he falls, right? So my comment was, he should have gotten ran over by his criminal friend who's the getaway driver. I said, too bad he didn't get ran over. That's all I said. And Facebook put me in jail for that. I'm like, really, Facebook? Okay. And then they speed off. Poor UPS driver. He's like, what the hell? I need a new job. Unbelievable. Like, who beats up a UPS driver? Anyway, the idiot fell out of the SUV as they were trying to get away. The license plate number is so incredibly clear. They got it on CCTV footage. So hopefully they've actually gotten these guys. I don't know. There's no update or anything. So I'll try to see if I can find out some more about this story. But like I said, El Rey shared the link from this Fox News station. And basically, I commented that he should have gotten ran over. And I still say it. I don't care what, what Facebook has to say. When you do certain criminal activities, we kind of don't feel sorry for you when things happen. But there you have it. Facebook thought that went against their community standards. I'm like, whatever, Facebook. Some days I just can't even. But I tell you what is really weird. Yeah, I don't know what the poor UPS driver was carrying in that package. It probably wasn't even anything major, but these thieves hardly care. So yeah, that's kind of jacked. Just absolutely crazy. Catwoman says, "Are you okay?" And K-Man, we're doing great. Thank you for checking in. No regrets, just lessons. Good morning, Deandro. Morning. Stephanie's joining us. Is that Jabhari? Thank you. On IG. Gary's joining us. Patrick is here on IG. Alma. Fanny. So we got a few people who are joining us. Junie. Grant. Haley, baby. There you go. So, yeah, Facebook jail. I got a 3-day sentence this time. Last time was only 24 hours. So, every time you get put in Facebook jail, they kind of increase your time. Whatever. So I got 3 days. And then the other thing that Facebook jail does is they hold stuff against you. Boy, they're not very forgiving, are they? Like legit, they bring up stuff from 2020. Well, you were in Facebook jail twice in 2020. I'm like, that was like a year ago. Give me a break. Anyway, for that very reason, I do have 2 Facebook accounts. So I've got a backup plan. Always have a plan B, folks. This is a life lesson. Always have a plan B. So I've got my plan B, and I was able to initiate my plan B. And, it is what it is. So that's all cool. We've got till tonight. So let's talk about what went on over the weekend. APRA says that plates are probably stolen. They were so kind of stupid though. Like you saw how they carried it out, right? They were just like ridiculous. So I kind of think maybe that is like a legit plate and stuff. They'll be able to, I would put my money on the fact that they are going to be able to find these criminals. Like I don't feel like they're terribly bright. First of all, they never got anything. Secondly, that he almost ran over, his friend, and who decides to target a UPS driver at 2:00 in the afternoon? Like this isn't the earmarks of a brilliant undertaking. Even the article says when the driver tries to get the box back, his attacker makes a run for it and tries to hop in an awaiting car. Why did the light just go off? A waiting getaway car, and karma seems to come back around quick as the attacker is hit by the getaway car. But the suspect still manages to flee the scene as the getaway driver stops to let the man in. Alexa? Alexa? Nothing's working around here today. I'm telling you, the other overhead. I'm not sure. Alexa? Turn on office light. There we go. At least I got a little bit of light around here. The other one just will not turn on, which is weird. Anyway, listen, technology, it is what it is. Good morning, Miss Beulah. Good morning to Leanne. Yes, I hope that they catch them. I want to keep an eye on that story and see what happens. Anyway, whatever. If you know the backup account, go look me up. Add me on no hurricane. No, thank you so much. We're all good. So we were a little bit worried, obviously, about the potential hurricane that then quickly went up quickly and then it came back down quickly to a tropical storm, Elsa. And thankfully she, oh my gosh. Ingrid said that I just triggered her Alexa device and it's like looking for office light. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. They should allow you to like customize her name and call her whatever you want. So it shouldn't just be, hey Alexa. Because like legit when I say it, it's triggering all kind of stuff. Like even if I'm not talking to her and I mention her name, she starts to listen. She's like, I don't know that. And I'm like, that's because I'm really not talking to you. I'm talking about you. So I feel like Amazon needs to give you the option of naming her something else. But anyway, yeah, so it is what it is. Technology, we live and fall by it these days. Like honestly, it's just one of those things. So the power went out because I woke up this morning to like my clocks having the wrong time and all sorts of weirdness. So I feel like I feel like save some of my documents because I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable about this computer and what it's going to do this morning. Yeah, so we had, like I said, we had a power outage. The clock said something like 4 o'clock when I got up. It was like after 6 or whatever. So I'm guessing that it just went out at some point a couple hours before. But yeah, a lot of stuff just isn't working. So I'm trying to figure it all out. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Some things are working. Like I'm actually literally closing some apps right now just to see how much of different things I can close down. But the one thing I need to actually open just isn't working. Murphy's Law. So the weekend was great. Yes, you're on YouTube. Thank you, my dear, for confirming. So we got a couple juicy stories that we are working on for you guys. Okay. Yes. All right, so we got some stuff working on for you guys. My apologies, getting a few messages here. But it was a good weekend overall. Of course, there's never a dull moment in a weekend anymore. Like legit, no matter what, something's always going to be popping off for the weekend in terms of like criminal activity, which is not something that we should be esteeming to. Like I feel really bad when this happens because, you know, sadly, here in Cayman, we're trying to hold on to like a little bit of paradise in terms of our innocence. And I feel like we're getting very close to the whole paradise lost situation where we're no longer going to be able to say, oh, we're like relatively crime free. And I know we have a little feather in our caps thinking that we are sometimes better than other people in this department. And the irony of it is some of the people that we look down on and like, oh yeah, they're a crime ridden, you know, community, blah, 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 third world, whatever. We let so many of their people in that it's only a matter of time before we become just like them. Not just, let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. Not just because we let them in, because that does play a part. And you guys know here in this program, we call a spade a spade. So we import a lot of criminality because we are importing poverty, we're importing a certain mentality that isn't necessarily uplifting our people. We seem to import a lot of people who want to steal from us as well. We're going to talk about that here in a second, in relation to UCCI, the University College. But, we just don't seem to always attract the best of the best. And I think that kind of comes with the territory when you open your borders. So I'm not sure how much of that we can legit do anything about, or how much of that we can really curtail. But I do think that we need to do a better job. So there are times when I get concerned when I see us not undertaking any sort of checks and balances as it relates to the individuals that we allow to come into this country. And then the irony of it is, once we recognize that, wow, this is not the caliber of person that we actually want coming here and working and integrating into our society, the reality is oftentimes it's already too late. We can't deport them because they're smart enough to anchor themselves. And you know what I mean by that? One of the first things they do is they have an anchor baby. That's exactly what it's called. An anchor baby is where you come to Cayman and you have a child with some foo Caymanian, get them pregnant in tutus, like really quick. And then you have a legal human rights argument about, oh, you have a right to family life. The problem with that is the most undesirables wish to do that more than anybody else. Other people are not going to jump so quickly because they don't have an immigration motive to want to stay here and get status. So they will take their time, right? And get to know people before they jump into relationships with them. And then what tends to happen as well is the bad is mixing with the bad. Very few instances you see undesirables having relationships and children with people who you go, okay, well, maybe that kid in that family has half a chance because at least one parent has more sense than the other parent. Well, for quite logical reasons, that normally doesn't happen. So you've got people marrying people very much like them. They just happen to be Caymanians, having children with these individuals. Then they've got their anchor kids, and we can't get rid of them, and they're not going anywhere. And then there's this like revolving, spinning wheel of criminality and bad behavior and all this sort of stuff that becomes an integrated part of our society. Now, I had a fabulous time over the weekend, I should say, with big shout out to the Filipino community. I went to their event. Let me make sure I try to get the name of this right now. So it was a Philippine festival, and their event is sponsored by, or it was organized by a group called the, hold on now, let me see if I can get it right. The, the Bayanihan, Cayman Bayanihan group. And so they've hosted this Philippine festival. I think if you guys remember last week, they came on the show on, I think it was Tuesday, to talk about the festival. And it was Sunday evening at the Lion Center. Well-attended event. And it was really quite awesome. I mean, oh my gosh, the dances and, the festival queens. They picked like one queen for the overall queen and the best boots. And they had different categories that people could get involved in. It was very colorful and actually quite entertaining. I really, really enjoyed myself. Buenos dias, Alba, ¿cómo estás? Mr. Walton is also here, says he's locked on. So we almost have 300 people watching between Facebook and YouTube. And then we've got a few more people on IG. So thank you guys so much. So I thought it was a fantastic event. We were there. We went to the event that they had in December, which is quite good as well. And, we support the Filipino community as much as we can here in CMR. We've got some real fans. I tell you what, the Filipino community loves CMR, and we appreciate that love and support. So we supported and we live streamed the event. And I remember someone saying to me when I sent out the live stream, they're like, oh, everybody comes here and enjoys their culture. And I said, yes. And the issue would be, well, where's the Cayman culture? And I said, well, Who are you trying to blame for that? I can't blame the Filipino people if Caymanians don't have their own culture on display. That's not their fault. I mean, hello, they do a wonderful job organizing their own events. What am I going to do? Tell the Filipinos to organize a Caymanian culture event? No. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. If you guys want a Cayman-based cultural event, then by all means, set it up. I'll be there. Get it done. I'd love to see it. You know what we celebrate? We celebrate Pirates Week. That's our Cayman culture. Y'all understand what I'm saying? The only thing that we can celebrate in terms of Cayman culture is Pirates Week. And then within Pirates Week, we embed our, what do we call them? District days or whatever. Why is that even connected to Pirates Week? Seriously, we need to think about having a national festival. I don't think it should have anything to do with pirates. And I know this has been a long-standing thing. The argument is that, oh, it brings people from all over the world and blah, blah, blah. But I think that if we're really keen to, you know, have Caymanian pride and support things that are Caymanian, then I don't know that Pirates Week should be what we're celebrating. So they had a wonderful display within the Filipino community. There's a lot of diversity. So there's different languages, there's different like dialects and stuff within their community. There's hundreds of islands in the Philippines, first of all. And they were celebrating, you know, different religions and different, you know, it was quite amazing to see. And at some level, they embrace each other. They obviously have a common language that they share so they can communicate. But, you know, I think to myself, I don't know that we should complain about other people celebrating who they are when we have an opportunity to do the same thing and we're just not doing it. Should we be doing it? I think so. Louis says his next dog, he's going to name Alexa. That's funny. Oh my God. If you have one of these devices around the house, we've got one in every room. She's not going to appreciate being called every minute. Yeah, so I don't know what to tell you. What is Cayman culture? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is we don't even know our own culture because we have from day one really been a culture that integrates and takes everything on. But I still think there are remnants of some stuff that we kind of consider very traditional Caymanian, like the wampas and, you know, those types of things. We have a Caymanian accent, not really a dialect per se, but an accent. And of course, some people are very good knowing if somebody's from West Bay or East End, or, you know, they can kind of pick up on those sorts of things. So we can celebrate those things, in my opinion. And I think we need to put our heads together collectively and think how best to do that. Loretta says, good morning, Sandy. So true. What is Cayman culture anyway? Well, I don't know. I'm asking, what is it? I think like I said, even the integrated part of it, we have created a culture that could be and should be celebrated. Piracy, I do not believe is, or shouldn't be what we're celebrating. It may be part of our history, but I don't think that it is part of our culture. Then again, we do have a lot of pirates here still, so I don't know. Maybe we continue to celebrate that because, you know, it says a lot about us. Natasha says, I think the complaint is more to do with whether we should go to many of these places and have a traditional Caymanian day within the general population. We could go to many of these places. Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I've never been to the Philippines, so I don't know how accepting they are in their own country of other people. I do know that in other places like the UK and the US and whatever, you are permitted and it's encouraged to have all of these subgroups. So for example, when I was in university, high school was different in the US. You guys know that I grew up in the US, but when I got to university, one of the things I loved about university life, hi Jade on IG, one of the things I loved about university life was the diversity. And Peter Campbell can tell you, I actually met Peter before I moved back to the Cayman Islands. At that point, I didn't even know if I was moving back to the Cayman Islands, but I met people like Peter at USF. And ironically, I met Peter at the I forget the exact name of it, but it was the Indian society, whatever they were called, right? Where they would get together, people of Indian descent or Indians. And, so my boyfriend was from Sri Lanka. So technically he's not like Indian, but he's, you know, um, East Asian, I guess. And so he would show up to these events and I would go with him. And at the time, Peter was dating this beautiful girl. Oh my God, she could be like Miss Universe. She was so pretty. This beautiful girl who was Indian. And so that's how we met. There were no Cayman events. Mind you, there was a Caribbean club, a Caribbean community that I also visited their stuff. But I enjoyed the cultural diversity of being able to go to different events and meet new people. Oh my God, listen, if there are any young kids listening to this program, your goal in life should be to spend some of your life away from Cayman. You need that exposure. It is so important to your personal development, even your professional development, and just how you see the world. Go and live overseas for 4 or 5 years of your life. It is just an amazing experience. Live in another culture. Take it in. There will be challenges. There'll be things that you hate about it. A lot of Caymanians, boy, when you go off to university, I hear you all complaining about the food and the this and the that. But there are also the things that you can take in and you absolutely love about that experience. And as you get older, you really appreciate the ability, especially when you're younger, to be able to do that, to not be so restricted. Because, once you get older and you start getting married and you have kids, you can't just think about yourself. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to just jump up and move to Europe now. You've got to think about your entire family. So I think that when you're younger, take that on. And I think I might have told you guys before, one of the most interesting people I met was a girl from Malaysia. And even within the Asian community, like Indonesians are different, Malaysian people are different. It's just very, very interesting. It was very interesting for me at the time to meet so many diverse people from all walks of life. And that diversity wasn't even just with cultures, it was even people with mental health issues. So while I was in university, I met the first bipolar person. Yep. There I was, walking the track, and he was running the track like a madman. And I was like, okay, then this dude's got some serious energy. And then when he finally slowed down enough to have a conversation, he was like, oh, I know you. You work at the school newspaper. And I'm like, oh, you work there? He was on the production side. I was a writer, a reporter. So I actually had never seen him before, but he was like, yeah, I'm in production and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh. So, it opened up my eyes a little bit to mental health. And because he took the time to speak to me about what his bipolarism was like and share that experience, I found it very, very interesting. And the one thing for sure that I recognized very early on is, wow, this is a really tough disease. Like, it's hard for people who are bipolar to get it under control, because he'd been struggling. We were in our early 20s, but he'd been struggling for a number of years. And he explained a little bit so I could understand it better of what the manic phase was like and what happens when he transitions from like one to the next. And his situation was so bad that oftentimes he would have to be hospitalized. Especially when he got in the manic stage, because that seems like when he was the most danger to himself, which is kind of weird because I thought the depression would be worse. But he's like, no, he's like, during my manic stage, I get so crazy, not to be rude to use that word, but he's like, I get so manic, that's a more appropriate word, that I would literally jump off a building thinking that I could fly because nothing can stop me. And I was like, wow. And he said, yeah, like they had to put him not just in a hospital, but in a straight jacket and force him to take his medication to bring him down and bring him back under control. I'll never forget. He was such a cute little kid too. But child, when he was like, do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, yep, got a boyfriend, not available. Because I did have a boyfriend. But secondly, even if I didn't have a boyfriend, I would have still told him I had a boyfriend. That's one of those moments when you tell a little white lie, because you don't even want to get involved in that on a personal level. Like I really just couldn't. Like I cannot imagine. I know maybe this is quite sad, but I cannot imagine having to deal with that situation every single day of my life, as a partner of someone or even as a loved one. And that's why my heart really goes out to the family members of people who are suffering from mental health issues. Because we don't know what it's like. Like, we legit do not know how hard that has to be. I got a glimpse just talking to this kid, probably how his mom felt. He had sisters. And I was just like, wow, this has got to be one of the most difficult experiences ever. But I think, again, it opened up my mind a little bit to people who have mental health issues. And I got to understand a little bit about that. I met dignitaries from all over the world. I had an opportunity. We had a guest speaker at USF. And because of my role as a reporter at the school paper, I got to interview him. He was from United Arab Emirates, and I'd never really met anybody from UE before. I later went on to meet other people, but he was so interesting. A professor there, and he was visiting the US, and he was doing a guest series. I got to interview the president of my university, who was the first female president of USF. In my repertoire of life, how many people can say that they even remember the first female president at USF? But not only do I remember her, but I actually had the opportunity to interview her. That was amazing. So Darlene says, Sandy, we always complain about other countries' cultures celebrating, for example, Jamaican Independence Day, but no one figures to organize and create a proper Caymanian culture. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we cannot blame anybody else for those shortcomings but ourselves. I don't blame Jamaicans for wanting to celebrate their Independence Day. I think we are the ones who are lacking for not appreciating that. Well, we're not independent, so I guess we don't have that day to celebrate yet. But you know what I mean? There's so many things that we can celebrate, and we don't. Caymanian foods are like amazing. We could have a national food festival. Anne says, as long as we've been around, we don't have a culture. I don't think that we don't have a culture, but I think we are the type of people that allow our culture to be suppressed very, very easily. So in our desire to want to integrate with everybody else and maybe fling the doors open a little bit too wide, we lose a piece of ourselves. You see, there's a balance, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with bringing people in without losing yourself. This is true in all aspects of life, whether it's like a relationship or a country, whatever. So you can bring people into your country, you can allow them to integrate, and they can celebrate who they are. But you don't have to lose your identity in the process. And I kind of feel like that's what happens to Cayman. I don't know why that is with us. If we're just like so happy to try to be somebody else, like we don't appreciate the things that are Caymanian. We don't appreciate our Caymanian dialect. We don't want to appreciate truly our foods and all the things that are kind of who we are and that make us incredibly unique. So that's where I think we need to build a little bit and find our strengths. And I do think that sometimes some of the people that we invite in, we have to be willing to teach them that you've just entered the Cayman Islands and this is what we're about and this is who we are. Be willing to learn about us and we will be willing to learn about you. So it's a two-way street. So at the Filipino festival, we had people there like Chris Saunders was there. Kenneth Bryan came. Woody DaCosta. I hadn't seen Woody in a minute. He looked good. So Woody was there as well. And, there were Caymanians there. And listen, I know some people say, oh, well, Filipinos, they don't integrate well. And they, always have their like basketball team and their events, whatever. But I gotta be honest with you. I feel very welcomed in the Filipino community. And I've never felt like they're trying to change me or, make me accept something else or whatever. I think that they are very friendly and welcoming people by and large. I think that what happens, like most things, right, when you travel halfway around the world, what a lot of people do, and I've seen this even with Caymanians, instead of getting out there and experiencing life, they want to like stay with their comfort zone. So they want to stay with people that they know. What's the first thing Caymanians do when they just go to Miami, for example? The first thing they do is they run to the first Caribbean restaurant or Caribbean food, or they go hang out with, if they can't find a Caymanian to hang out with, now they can probably find one in Miami for sure. But they're going to try to find Caribbean people because that's what's familiar. You know, Caribbean people know how to use our spices. Yes, they're going to give us some curry chicken and whatever else. And so it just really comes down to us being a bit more comfortable with those people. So you might sacrifice being a little bit uncomfortable, but getting to experience and know other people and other cultures, I think, is incredibly important. Mitchell, good morning, says every family have their personal culture. Check them out. Miss Darlene says, Sandy, you're absolutely correct. I think every Caymanian should travel and live abroad for at least a few years. Our minds are too narrow-minded about so many things. You learn to appreciate differences, different things, and most of all, different cultures, of which we learn to live and accept others. Good morning to Linford Pearson. He says, young people spending time abroad provides an invaluable culture experience. Good suggestion, Sandra. God bless. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do we have exchange programs? Can somebody tell me this? I honestly don't know this. Do we have cultural exchange programs at the university, not university, but even like high school level, where kids come here and kids go overseas? You see, when I went to school, high school in Tampa, we had cultural exchange programs. People could go overseas for 2-3 years and do like their high school overseas even and stay with a family. Richard, good morning. Richard McLean says Caymanian was never privateers. We should not be celebrating this dual festival called Pirates Week, Cayman Islands National Festival. Port Royal, Jamaica was the wickedest city on earth, and Jamaicans do not have a festival for it. Caymanians were hardworking people, not pirates, and the government needs to end the Pirates Week aspect of the festival. I think that we can draw people in with a national festival, and it doesn't have to be Pirates Week. Now, I get the idea behind Pirates Week, dressing up as pirates, you know, invading the, I think Tampa kind of does something similar, but Gasparilla, you know, invading the island and, you know, taking the key and all that kind of stuff. I guess theatrics is interesting. But, you know, I think that historically, maybe there should be something like Seafarers Week or something, you know, where we celebrate our seafaring history. Well, thank God we've at least recently acknowledged that aspect of our culture and our history by renaming Harbor Drive, or part of Harbor Drive anyway, to Seafarers Way. That's Cayman history, right? When you hear things like, I was so tickled pink to hear about these, what were they called? Not stipends, but allotments. I knew nothing about this concept of an allotment. I was like, what is an allotment? And it was interesting to hear this poem being read by Miss Shalette, Nasaria Shalette. You know, that's Caymanian history. And those are the things I'm afraid that a lot of our children are not going to grow up knowing. So we've got a few messages coming in on WhatsApp. Let's just read some of those. So just a traffic alert. There's a three-car accident by Wilty Drive that now has traffic at a standstill going into town. So if you are in traffic, that's why. Thank you for that update. Someone else says, in government schools, there are cultural days. However, Caymanian culture should be highlighted on Constitution Day or Heroes Day. So we've just had Constitution Day. Did we do anything for Constitution Day? I think the events office, I forget what they call themselves, headed up by oh gosh, I can't remember his name now. Alfonso, headed up by Alfonso Wright. I think that they had fireworks to celebrate Constitution Day. Again, what does that have to do with Cayman culture? I have no clue. So Richard says we have a culture. It's what we do, what you do day to day. Darlene chimes in again and says, the truth is the majority of us are not as proud of our country as some of us. I love my Cayman so much that I fly my national flag in my front room window here in the UK. I get a lot of conversations about what country I'm from. Beautiful. Miss Lorna, thank you so much for tuning in. She says we need not become a melting pot, but rather be like a beautiful, healthy salad. Blend, but each item retains its individuality. That's a perfect analogy, I think, for exactly what needs to happen. Jess says we're a little bit too free for all. Jan also says the people that could cook Caymanian style cooking, they're all died out. Not much of them are left. Left only Cayman that can cook our food, like Uncle Nelson and Miss Carita from East End and West Bay. Well, they're not all gone yet. I think a lot of them are still very much around, and they have passed that on to some people. What I find incredibly interesting, I don't know if you guys have ever picked this up, but quite interestingly enough is even when you go to an events like Pirates Week and you are at the district days, a lot of the people cooking those foods are no longer Caymanians because, again, it's a Caymanian booth, but the actual people preparing the food are Jamaicans, for example. And I'm not saying that you can't learn how to cook. Like, I cook ackee, and I'm sure it comes out really great and whatever, but there's something to be said, especially at a national festival level, that the Caymanian boots are there. Caymanian should be cooking the food. That's just my opinion. Mr. Walton says, Sandy, I can understand wanting to change the name Pirates Week to Cayman Culture Week. The district days are supposed to display the culture of each district, and I think it has done so. Love to go to East End for the cassava cake. But other than the food, when it comes to the district days, what else do people really talk about? Like, I think there has to be more emphasis on the cultural aspect. And I get that food is a big part of who we are, trust me. But I would like to see a little bit more digging into our culture, people in traditional dress and, the weaving of the baskets and all the thatch work and those types of things. I would love to see more of that on a regular basis. In fact, I think that when tourism reopens, every single day government should hire. We talk about how jobs are going to be created and what's going to happen in town. I think that government honestly should close off Seafarers Way to traffic, make people go around the main harbor, and have Caymanian older folks, maybe a few young folks, walking around in traditional Caymanian dress, like not what we're wearing now, suits and ties and whatever, but traditional dress, and have a little section with music and drums, and have a next section with poetry and poem readings, and another section with the outdoor kitchen and the pot, and people can stop by and sample Caymanian foods and stuff like that. Like, recreate that experience right on the harbor so that as the cruise ship passengers come off, they immediately get a flavor for what being in the Cayman Islands used to be like, and that's part of our history. And they can actually see a Caymanian immediately, talk to Caymanians. It's not about just jumping on a tour bus and going to Stingray City and playing with our stingrays so much that we're killing them off. Give them an authentic piece of who we are, and developed a whole theme around that: performances, food, thatch work, the whole 9 yards, and employ people to be part of that unique and legitimate tourism experience. I don't know, call me crazy, but I think it can be done. Jonathan says nowadays, if you want to put on a festival of any kind and want to cook for people, we need to go to the bank and get a personal loan to buy the food for the event, even if we buy the food wholesale. Well, child, the price of everything's going up, but I hear you. Sherry Ann says that there's a cadet corps exchange program. Good morning, Lynette. How are you? Jonathan says leave his Pirates Week alone, boy. He love his Pirates. Anne says that was meant to be I know we have a culture. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just no longer about Caymanian, sad to say. We're all about elating others and tearing and smothering our own down. That's my opinion, not asking anyone to agree. Doesn't matter how hard some of us try to find our place, we will always be silenced. Sad but true. Well, I think that being silent sometimes is a choice. I get that consequences come from that, but don't let anybody silence you, right? So we should all have a voice. This is our country. This is our community. Blissful Powell says she agrees with the word pirate. It concerns me. Excellent share. So something to think about. Blissful Powell says, Sandra, why do we have a Constitution Day, but the Constitution doesn't define a Caymanian? As a matter of fact, I was told we're not known internationally as Caymanians, but British little islands they take care of. Well, I don't know anything about that because they don't take care of us. But anyway, Victoria says, why isn't there an event showcasing local talent like the dance group, musical artists, and poetry? Like Anika, Blue Island Oracle, FJB. Listen, somebody obviously needs to organize it. I don't know who that somebody is going to be, but someone needs to organize it. Wanda says we can't blame others for Caymanians not promoting our own culture. I think Cayman wanted to be like the US so bad, starting in the 60s, that anything Cayman was not valued. Interesting. What a hot mess. Then you have the government giving away everything and don't preserve Cayman architecture. I went to a travel trade show at the Philadelphia Convention Center a few years ago, and there were no Caymanians at the Cayman stall. It was disheartening. Oh, you're saying the stall was manned by non-Caymanians. You see, that's the kind of thing, again, I have an issue with that. It would be nice to see, even at trade shows and so on, Caymanian faces. So Carol says, unfortunately, if you close downtown, you're going to have chaos on Elgin Avenue in rush hour. Linda says some places do that, what I suggested earlier, and they call it a living museum where people recreate traditional tasks for visitors. There has to be a compromise. There has to be a way that it can be done. Loretta, good morning. Loretta says that we don't support each other. Even at events, you see a lot of other nationalities than our own. And this is unfortunate because let me tell you something. At this show on Sunday, the Filipino community came out in droves. Like the parking was all the way down by country. They supported this event big time. There were a lot of people there, a lot of people participating. They were cheering for all of the people that they wanted to be involved in the festival, like all the festival queens and all of the dance groups and stuff. It was a very well attended event. They did, I thought, a fantastic job of showing a lot about their culture and their community. And the performances were good. I mean, they had a little glitch here and there, some technical glitches, but they didn't let that stop them. So can somebody just take this idea and run with it? I don't have the time to do it. I wish I did. Lavana says, I remember going to Jamaica and seeing their flag all over, so beautiful. Most times I come back home with a JA shirt on, but when, is it Ale? Is that how they pronounce it? Awa. I think it's Awa. Came out with the Cayman shirt. I took mine to Jamaica and wore it coming back home. Man, I felt like I was floating on air with pride. Everyone in the airport was asking if they could take a picture. Proud Caymanian. And everyone should have some sort of representation of their Caymanian history like that, whether it's a flag or whatever. Listen, when I lived in the States, my aunt and uncle were American citizens and they had been there for a very long time. From when my aunt was a kid, she left the Cayman Islands and they had July 4th, they put out their American flag. They celebrated that culture because that's pretty much what they grew up as. Now, speaking of which, give me 1 second here. I want to show you guys something because I feel like, wait a minute. There we go. Yeah. So I feel like we need to do something here today. Let me see if I can find. So one of the prize giveaways, give me 1 quick second. I'm going to show you guys this video from the storm in Jamaica, just to buy myself a little bit of time here. But have a look at this video. You're going to be quite shocked and surprised at the amount of damage that the storm did over the weekend in terms of flooding mostly. But thank God it wasn't any worse than this.
Yeah. Gregor Park. Look on Gregor Park. I flooded out. Gregor Park, watch it. Gully, look on the gully. Gully full up. Yeah. Yeah, look on Gregor Park. Gregor Park, I flood out, watch it. At the street of Gregor Park, this now, look here. Look where I go on. Yeah, but take off your shoes, my boss. Because it a flood out, look on the gully.
Never have I seen old harbor like this in a long while. Like, brother, you can't see the road.
All right, so parts of Jamaica got a lot of flooding over the weekend. St. Lucia, the Bahamas, not the Bahamas, St. Lucia, Barbados, they got a little bit of weather. Roofs and stuff came off, like it was not nice. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers still go out to those communities because although it was not like a category 5, it's not just a category 5 or 4 storm that causes a lot of damage. So even sometimes just a cat 1 or a tropical storm can likewise be incredibly damaging. So I've got a trivia question for you guys. So in keeping with appreciating and loving our Cayman history, I want you guys to pay attention. Richard says we must know the difference between culture and heritage. What we want to do is celebrate our heritage and live our culture. Good point. Thank you, Richard. Blissful Powell, thank you. Miss Darlene says, Sandy, my last post for today, when I was at the craft market, I literally begged TAB/government at the time to allow me to have our local primary school students take turns and come to perform the quadrille dancers and local bands the days of the cruise ships, but got absolutely no support, not even a response to the suggestion. Wow. What a mess. Blissful says, don't stop. Go talk to the new government. Well, Blissful, Ms. Darlene's in the UK now, child. Enjoying life. Twin of Us says Caymanians are the minority in our own country. Thank you, Catherine, for tuning in. Are you still abroad? Richard said this is a time for DOT to organize national song contests for the Caymanian musicians to reopen the islands with a bright, happy song about Cayman. Lots of time to put pen to paper. Listen, during COVID, we did all that. We had people write songs. We had a song contest. We gave up money. What happened to it after that? Do we do like one little event to kind of get people, musicians working during COVID? That was great. And now it's over and done with, and everybody's forgotten anything about it. All right, here's the deal. I have a trivia question for you guys. So whoever gets the correct answer will get this Cayman. It's actually a flag. I think it's called a flag. Is it a flag shirt? Like when you go to your events, you can wear it with pride and show like it kind of comes over you and you show your full just pride really. And this is courtesy of, hold on now, let me tell you the name of the company. I need to look this one up. I don't want to get this wrong, so give me 1 second. So this is Doss Solomon and his wife, Keisha. So these are Cape flags. That's the correct name for it. So they gave us some of these for anniversary celebrations. Their company's name is Bargain Baskets, and they source everything from like swag bags, novelty gifts for special events, country and custom flags, and they can customize corporate or personal products. So this is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to try to see if I can pull up the picture here and show you what this looks like. So folks, by all means, check out their company, but I've got one here as a giveaway today. So here's the question. In celebration of Constitution Day, which we just had, that was why we had the day off yesterday. Let's talk about how many written constitutions. Now, if you're a CMR fan, you'll know the answer to this already. Here's what it looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? So how many written constitutions has the Cayman Islands had? You can just guess a number, I suppose, if you don't know. But Lavonia's answers to Lavonia's point, how many of them are flying our flag and wearing their shirts? They're now Caymanians, and I love my KY, but Lord, help us in the direction path that we need to go. Tin, thank you. Says Miss Sandy, thank you so much for featuring and supporting the Philippine Festival. We appreciate also the Cayman government for their support and allow us to celebrate our culture from the Philippines. It was really a beautiful event. Any guesses? You can get this beautiful flag cape, and that's what it looks like there. We have a young man who's guessing 3. Nope. Sherry-Ann is guessing 2. Tracy is the first person with the correct answer. So the correct answer is 4. The Cayman Islands has actually had 4 versions, I guess, of our constitution, a written constitution, since 1959. Jared, you should have gotten that, because I kind of gave it away yesterday in one of her posts. So despite us having over 165 years of government representation, this current constitution that we have is only the 4th written constitution issued for the islands by the British Crown since 1959. So happy Constitution Day. Young lady, you have won. Tracy, congratulations. You have won this flag cape. So please reach out to me. 324-1612 is the WhatsApp number. And I will arrange to get you this prize. And the next time you go to any sporting event, these are fantastic for that. Or anywhere you feel like you want to show your Caymanian pride, put on your flag cape. You know what else is quite disturbing? Good morning, Dr. Frank, Damien, Devonta's here. Giovanni, thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Miss Brenda. Yes, so that company, I feel like we should have them on the program. They actually have a backpack now as well. So they have several different shirt designs. And I tell you what, I got mine first, and everywhere I would go, people are like, oh my God, where did you get that Cayman shirt from? So the company, I'll see if I can get their information, but a young man started the company, and it has really taken off. They've done very well with sales. They have the strapless shirt, and then they've got like the full shirt. I bought a little mini one for my daughter. It was too big for her at the time. It turned out to be almost like a dress. But I wanted her to know you are a Caymanian. And trust me, she knows when she sees the Cayman Islands, she sees our flag. From like 2, she could tell you that was Cayman. Right? She kind of was messing up the national song, but she knows the national song. Now she's better with the words. And if she hears it playing, she knows like that's the Cayman Islands national song. So even as I look at trying to decide what school she's going to go to, I look at some of the curriculums and some of the programs, and I think to myself, oh boy, we got a problem. Speaking of that, I want to share something with you guys. Now, I don't know if this, like I said, my computer's a little wonky today. So I don't think I can even open up Outlook right now. Oh, it's all over the place. All right. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you guys, there's a Jamaican lady who ironically enough has, oh yes, I got it open. Okay, let me see if I can find this. You guys are going to love this. She has designed books. Now she's going to start doing a local puzzle for us, which I'm so excited about. So we're going to have crossword puzzles on CMR, and she's going to do them based on topical issues happening here and news. So she will go through and maybe do 1 or 2 a month, and they'll be fun because they'll be relevant to what's happening here. So she creates she actually creates custom puzzles. She's done a book, and I want to show you guys the I'm trying to get someone to take this on in terms of, she came to see me, I think it was on Friday. Yeah, so let me show you guys this. This is so amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. So she came to see me on Friday. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, Miss Sandy, you know, I love your program. I'm a real CMR fan, and I want to show you something that I've done." So she created a custom book for Jamaica. She's an educator. She's worked here in the schools, and now she's in Miami. Not Miami, in New York, working on some specialty certification as it relates to education. Gabby says, "What happened to social studies in the school? I remember one of my projects in primary school was to make an old Cayman house from cardboard, which we decorated with sands and seashells." I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point yet in school, so I'm not really sure. But Gabby, make sure you WhatsApp me, because I'm supposed to chase you up for your prize from last week, right? To make sure you're getting the most use out of it. So yeah, so look at what she has created, right? She actually does custom books, and she has them printed, and they're good material, good little books. And they include like puzzles about, so the one for Jamaica is all based in Jamaica, puzzles about Jamaica life and so on. And she has done one for Cayman. So let me show you the cover. Now, she hasn't had it printed yet because she needs to get like so many ordered in order to justify the printing, which makes sense. But look at this. Is this not gorgeous? Carrot juice, a blend of culture, crafts, and curriculum. Her name is Carleen Buckle. You see, Cayman featured there. So all of the curriculum, everything will be related to the Cayman Islands and Cayman life. Let me show you guys some of the index so that you can get an idea of what she covers. It's amazing. So let me take this one out. So here it is. Look inside. Places to see. Uh-oh. There we go. Places to see. You got crossword puzzles, clues, National Gallery, narrative poem, complex sentences. So she puts educational components to it, but it's then teaching you by default all sorts of stuff about the Cayman Islands. So there's a whole section, the Owen Roberts International Airport, for example, Little Cayman, weekend in Cayman Brac, 2 favorite places, hotspots. There's a vocabulary section, different types of puzzles, National Festival of the Arts, letter to a music teacher. I mean, I couldn't believe when I saw her book, tourism, saving the bees, Cayman's economy, clues, crossword puzzles. It is amazing what she has created. And no, she's not a Caymanian, but here's an outsider who has come in, you know, saw an opportunity to customize a product for the Cayman Islands. And I absolutely love it. Favorite foods. Stuff about Caymanian grandparents, seafood menu, red sky at night. All these events that we do have that have become part of our modern day culture. Special events in Cayman, the female blue iguana, teaching people about the Caymanian children, more importantly, about the Caymanian way of life. Listen, we need to get these printed. And as far as I'm concerned, the education department should be jumping on this. Every child in primary school should have one of these. It blends culture, crafts, and curriculum in one textbook. And like I said, the quality of the material is absolutely amazing. She said she approached education before, and they didn't particularly seem interested. Mm-mm-mm. I don't even know what to say. We got to do better. That's all I can say. Because I would have thought that this was the sort of thing, honestly, that anybody would jump on when they saw this book. I mean, I was excited when I saw it. And even when she messaged me about doing a puzzle that's unique to Cayman for CMR, I was like, oh, I love this idea. This is fantastic. Yes, let's do it. Hello. CMR stands for Cayman Mall Road. You can't get more Caymanian than that in terms of news. And that's why sometimes y'all don't like the format that we take, but we weren't really all that bothered because we're like, listen, this is the Cayman Islands and the format is what it is. If we don't accept that being a little bit gossipy is part of our Caymanian culture, then y'all missing the boat on that one. Because we want to know all the ins and outs and all the details. And so I have people saying to me all the time, yesterday, unfortunately, there was a stabbing incident in South Sound early yesterday morning. And throughout the day, when I ran into people, they're like, what's the latest? Tell us what's going on. Who is the person? I'm like, that's a very Caymanian question. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to know what really went down. The story behind the story. Miss Anne, have a wonderful day. Miss Darlene loves it. She says that's an awesome idea for the Cayman puzzle book. And it's not just puzzles. It's like all sorts of other things mixed in. Giovanni says that they still do study at times in the schools about Cayman. Well, thank God. Marshall says, I think that any one should be proud of their culture and heritage, no matter where in the world they are, but especially in your own country. So, Wanda, which company are you referring to for the Ali for the T-shirts? I don't know if they ship internationally or not. But if not, I mean, I think it's a good idea. Good morning, Tommy. Thank you so much for joining us in the Bahamas. Janetta says, how can I order a few of these books? Well, they're not printed yet because I said to her, we need to find a way to get you to the point where you can print, because she's got a minimum print that she has to run, right? For it to kind of make any financial sense. Someone says the education department isn't visionary. We should voice our disappointment with not having any educational books about Cayman culture in schools. Well, here is an opportunity to do just that. And, I don't care if she's Caymanian or Jamaican, but the point is she's done it. So if she has done it and the material is there, why not order them for every single school child in the Cayman Islands? Private schools, I think, should jump on this as well. Like I said, I want one for my daughter because I think this is fun. Like, listen, she's got all kind of educational puzzles. None of them relate to the Cayman Islands. I want one of these for her. So when we sit down and we talk about Cayman Brac and the caves and the bluff, and it's a learning experience. It's a little bit more formal, but it's still fun in the context of a book. Jem says, excellent, excellent. I recently had this conversation with a few of my Caymanian friends, and the Cayman culture needs to be out there beginning with the schools. It needs to be more front and center for sure. Marshall shares that it's a shame that the education department wouldn't jump on that idea and run with it. Mm-mm-mm. Rosie, unfortunately, like I said, she's got to get so many orders in or know that she can sell. I think the minimum that she can print is like 2,000 of these. But I kind of feel like, I'm trying to talk to some people who have money to say, help her, like fund this project for her, like fund the printing, pay for the printing, basically. Get those books here, because I feel like once they're here, they will sell. Sometimes you just have to do it and make it, and then people come on board. It's just the vision people don't always see. And then when they see the end product, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Miss Brenda says everything Caymanian is no longer taught in her schools. I think it's for the same reason why they don't teach the Constitution, sadly. Well, they must be trying to keep people ignorant, because I guess that works for whoever. I don't know who that would be, but they think that that works for them. Miss Carol, son of Indian YouTuber, pour my granddaughter into school. Oh, at the Achievement Center. Thank you. Let me see if I can pull that up, Miss Carol. I see some of you sending voice notes. Obviously, I can't listen to a voice note right now, unless it's meant to be for the show. So, Miss Carol, I'm going to see if I can download this and just pull this in to the show. So yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. We need more of these things. So let's see what Miss Carol's granddaughter has been up to. All right.
One, two. Young Caymanians. 1, 2. We are young Caymanians. We are bold. We are bright. We are strong. We shall leave home, gather knowledge, and build a dream that will come true. For the sake of today, for the sake of tomorrow, for the sake of us. For we are young Caymanians.
Beautiful. So yes, I mean, we need to encourage our children to participate more, be more involved in learning about these beautiful islands, learning about our history. You guys know that I've been talking about this segment, the Conversations with segment. During the election, we were kind of focused just on people running for public office, but that's just the beginning. We want to do the Annie Moultons of Cayman. We want to do the Richard Arches of Cayman. Oh my gosh, when he spoke the other day at the Seafarers Way, it just reminded me of I need to get on him quickly to do our interviews, because I think Mr. Uncle Dick, as he's called by family, he's got to be in his 80s, I believe. And he is as sharp as a tack. I mean, this man knows his history. He knows stories. Every time I sit down with him, I get such an educational experience. It is just amazing. And we're going to lose all of those stories and all that history if we don't hurry up and get on it. So I've been, I keep saying I need to make time to schedule, but I need to stop saying it and just do it, right? And really just get it done. It's just so amazing what we are potentially going to be losing, I think, and missing out on if we're not careful, if we don't record all of this history. We have amazing talent in this country. We always have. And we need to focus on those. We need to grow and highlight that aspect of our country and of our islands. So if you're interested in Miss Carlene's book, send me a message and let me know. Let me get a feel for how many people are actually interested. Because like I said, I'm going to put some feelers out there. I'm going to speak to some people who I think can make this happen and see how best we can get this done. I feel like all of the schools should have it. Government school, like someone said, maybe they're not the most visionary group in the world, but there's also a lot of private schools out there that I believe would jump on the opportunity to have this text available to them. So that being the case, let's just get some ordered and get them here. And then I think once we do that, we'll be in a position to get them in the hands of all sorts of students. I think we just need to do it. Like just get it done. And then, you know, why is this? I'm trying to sort something out here. So let's get it printed, get it here. And I think people pay. I would pay money for that book. Listen, you pay ridiculous money for little toys and stuff. Do we not? Yes, we do. I don't know how much she charged for this textbook, but I would pay $15, even $25 for that. Because it's not just about the learning material, it's about it being something that is very unique and specific to the Cayman Islands. I've never seen a book like that before. Good morning, Miss Julie. Jenna is here. Good morning. Miss Jem says she has 10 Caymanian grams and she's interested. Speak to the people at Life and get them to support it, Woody in particular. Oh, Life is that the reading program? Okay. The literacy program. I forget the exact name of it, but yes. All right. We can make this happen. Jenna says it's sad the direction Cayman is going because, in my honest opinion, this is the only country that embraces another man's heritage and culture while our own is slowly dying. Well, we need to change it. Like I hear you. I hear us talking about it. I think we need to start doing something about it. And listen, I'm going to play my little part. And I will see about whether or not we can get this textbook printed. It's got to come from like China, 2,000 orders, and let's just get it here. So someone said to speak to the premier and Heather Bodden about getting them for Savannah primary. Believe me when I tell you, you will not be disappointed in the material and you will not be disappointed in the quality of the textbook. She left one of the Jamaican ones with a lady here, and I'm going to try to borrow it maybe tomorrow. I can show you guys what it looks like flip through it for real. Because that was just, she was able to just send me some electronic copies of the cover and then the index of all the material. And it's a lot of material. The book is at least, oh my gosh, how many pages? It was a lot of pages. Hold on. It goes up to 100 and almost, oh my goodness, 170 something pages. So it is a full book. It's not like you're going to be wasting up to 176 pages. It has all the solutions and stuff in the back. She even does stuff like about skincare, animals, sense of smell. So it teaches you a lot. Jared, no electronic versions of the book because I think that the grades that it's meant to go after, they don't do well with having electronic versions and stuff, and you have to fill out the crossword puzzle. So it's a whole different sort of, you need the physical book. Now, listen, I love me an ebook, but I do appreciate, especially with children, that this is why a lot of people are struggling. A lot of kids are struggling during COVID. It's not the same experience for them. And the younger they are, the more they need that hands-on component to learning. So the more they need a physical book. I've gone through my life. having physical books, and I got to the stage where I was like, you know what? I love me an ebook to read, and I love an audiobook. But I think children, and especially this type of book where you're actually writing in it and doing drawings and whatever, they need to have that physical contact for a book. So it's not just a book that you read, it is an interactive learning experience. Let me see what I can do. Where there's a will, there's a way. And believe me, if anybody can get it done, I know here in CMR we can do it. So she came to see me. Like I said, she was visiting from New York, and she messaged me last week with this puzzle idea. And she just brought her book along to show me, what she's been working on and kind of what she does. And I was like, I love this. And I want to help her get this into the hands of every Caymanian child, because I think ultimately we are helping Caymanian children. So one step at a time. Everyone has to play their role, and I'll see what I can do in terms of this. Emma makes a great point, says it would be a great tourism product too. And a lot of our tour drivers and companies could use them to learn the Ma Road truth about Cayman. Because if you hear some of the SHID, some of these taxi drivers tell their visitors it's ridiculous. They don't even understand how they got a taxi license. Girl, I'm guessing there is no requirement to pass a cultural exam. Although when you think about it, there probably should be. I've heard the stories, Joe. I've heard them, believe me, you. And I mean, I don't know where these taxi drivers are from, but I have heard some incredible stories of what people are told. Yes, Rosie, thank you for that. I'm waiting to confirm. I ran into